So in devstream 114 yesterday, they talked about Melee 3.0. This is, from everything I've come across, always comes back to the same thing. They reworked primaries, secondaries, shotguns, arrows, snipers, and everything else at the beginning of the year, and they've talked about it since. They are going to do the same to Melee. It is just taking a long time. And what Melee 3.0 seems to be is that. So we'll ignore the stats of what's going to happen with channeling and other things, because they did talk about how channeling will no longer use energy, and channeling still wants to be a thing, but they haven't quite decided what's going on yet. But the combos that they actually showed, which is going to be part of this whole Melee 3.0, at first I kind of thought, really? But the combos seems to be on the basis of the way it is now, but there's just going to be one combo there instead of having 3 or 4. But instead of it being based on pressing buttons, holding buttons, channeling while blocking and holding melee and then releasing melee, leaving a gap, pressing melee again, and all these other complicated things, it's going to be based on a few simple things, like if you're standing still you will have a base combo. If you are moving forward, it will be the same combo, but it'll be slightly faster and slightly different, and same if you're going backwards. But one of the big things that I really like the look of, if you are blocking and then hit melee, you will kind of lunge forward, which is great because that is adding much more range to melee weapons. And one of the main reasons I'm not using my Skoliak anymore is simply down to the fact of I have tried to hunt out rivens and they are insanely hard to get or insanely expensive. This will kind of counter that because it's adding movement into it. Even the base combo seems to move you forward without having to press any directional button, which is why using the directional button you seem to cover the same distance, but you just swing a lot more. And when you jump, you can also now, instead of just swinging once and then having to fall to the earth, you can actually perform these combos in the air. It's actually adding a lot more movement than there was before when it comes to everything melee related. So this whole thing started off really quickly as being a vast improvement over the melee system that is there now. Even down to the ground pound, they said it's going to still be there, it's going to work the same as it did before, but if you go really high, because obviously you can bullet jump much higher than you could when the melee system was created, which predates double jump, you can actually kind of direct where you are going. It'll pause for a slight second, and then you can change the direction that you were going, so instead of ground pounding straight forward, if the enemy's moved slightly to the right, you can go haha and aim just in front of them, so you kind of meet them as they're running away, which more than anything else I'm kind of looking forward to. My biggest problem is being somebody who uses that login reward, the Sigma and Octantis, a lot. Yeah, when you throw that in the air, it stuns an enemy, so I haven't got to play with ground pounding for so long. I actually missed that feature, and I didn't realise how much I missed it till this. And they did try to talk about the whole melee using secondaries, and they are working on including more weapons than just glaives for this. So you could have your secondary and a sword, or a heavy sword, or a big axe, or any single-handed weapon. So really the big blades, the heavy blades, wouldn't work with this. It's going to be machetes, probably single scythes. No, actually that's a dual wielder. No, there is a single one, the single kammer. Single-handed swords, not heavy swords and heavy axes. Just to clear that up, because I am aware that I said axes earlier. I think the smaller ones, actually, probably not. Even the shields that I use won't be able to work with this, unless they kind of make it so if you have a dual wielding weapon you are just using one of them. Who knows? But as I started this out, this is of course being called Melee 3.0, but it's like the secondary and primary reworks earlier in the year. They're tweaking every stance. Every weapon is going to have slight alterations to their stats. And this is of course taking a long time. But from what they did show here, everything did look like it was going to be amazing. And very little to the nerf side of the system, but of course we have to wait for the list of what the changes are going to be on the individual weapons before we can actually figure out if Melee 3.0 is going to be good or it's going to be bad. But just from... I've tried avoiding Melee 3.0 for a long time, but just seeing this one section of video, it does look like it's going to be really nice from what they've shown so far. Anyway, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch yous next time. And just so we're clear here, yes, that was Vauban's Deluxe all the way through this. It's not out yet. They did kind of show it, but they showed it through the Melee system, so I wasn't going to mention it, but I thought I'll just add this on at the end.